What's up, my friends? In the following clip, I talked to a student about the best resource to use while preparing for technical investment banking interviews, the best way to utilize this resource, as well as some general interview tips and tricks to keep in mind to leave a favorable impression upon your interviewers. Even if you aren't an investment banking aspirant, I have absolutely no doubt that you'll find the tips and tricks that I talk about during the latter half of the video extremely useful. I get a lot of questions asking me that if I'm not a finance student, say for instance, I'm an engineer or any other non-finance major, how much of the technical investment banking or finance concepts do investment banks expect me to know during interviews? That's another question that I answer in detail in this snippet. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and now let's get going.
What I would say is, and you may have already come across this, have you heard of the 400 investment banking question and answer guidebook?
Yes, I'm actually reading it right now, but I know the answers to half of the basics.
Yeah.
But but I haven't gone through the advanced questions, and half of the basics I didn't I'm not familiar with. Given the short time frame, I'm not sure if I should memorize the half that I'm not familiar with, or would you recommend just focus on the half that I already know of?
So I would say do not memorize because you'll be lucky if the questions are very straightforward. So typically a question won't be define what this is or define what that is. It's going to be slightly more conceptual. Okay, if this happens, how will it affect my balance sheet or my income statement? So that's why I feel a fundamental understanding is much better than rote memorization. So what I would say is know the fundamentals or know the basics really well and have a very solid fundamental or conceptual understanding of the basics, as opposed to trying to tackle the advanced level stuff. The advanced level stuff, even I never went through. I mean, I read through it, I skimmed through it, but 70% or 80% of it, I did not understand. It's very esoteric. So what I would say is you would rather have a very firm understanding of just the basic level questions, as opposed to a not so firm understanding of the basics and a not so firm understanding of the advanced. If your concepts are really strong, then you will be able to use first principles to derive the solution, to arrive at the answer, as opposed to you relying upon rote memorization. Oftentimes what happens in interviews is, I'm not sure how experienced you are with these finance interviews, a lot of the interviewers will actually guide you in the right direction. But they can only guide you in the right direction if you have some idea of what the answer might be. And so if you understand the fundamentals really well and you can tell them, okay, so this is what I know based upon what you've talked about, they might tell you, okay, yes, you are headed in the right direction. Keep going. And so they'll assist you to arrive at the answer. If it's rote memorization, then it's black or white. You either know it or you don't know it. In that guide, in the 400 investment banking question guide, whatever you don't understand, right? Investopedia is a very valuable resource. So say for instance, you don't understand what the EV to EBITDA multiple means, right? So on Investopedia, just Google EV to EBITDA ratio and then read up the stuff on Investopedia. Investopedia also has these very useful video tutorials that really helps you hammer in the concept that they're talking about. So that's what I would say. So focus as much as possible on understanding everything in the basic section. And then if you have time, you could perhaps consider tackling the advanced level stuff. But that's a nice to do as opposed to a must do.
Just wondering how much do they expect us to know for people that have never been in investment banking?
That's a very good question. So funnily, that depends upon you. So if you go out there and you tell them, look, I know this, and this, and this, and this, they'll be like, okay, let me test this person. So if you actually end up opening up a can of worms by talking about a very esoteric or advanced level concept, then they'll be like, okay, this person might be showing off. Let me just test whether this person actually has a good knowledge about about the topic that this person is talking about. You have to showcase the fact that despite being an engineer, despite not quite having a finance background, you've still gone above and beyond and done your homework in knowing what the basic level concepts of finance, of investment banking are. But at the same time, you have to act humble as opposed to acting too cocky or arrogant or as someone who's a Mr. or Mrs. Know-it-all. Otherwise, they'll just be like, okay, you know what? Let me just test her to see if she's actually well-versed with these topics that she's talking about, as opposed to she just bullshitting or, just trying to sound smart. And whenever in doubt, whenever you don't have the answer to any question, never say, I don't know, or I have absolutely no idea, I've never heard of this concept. Just tell them, okay, so based on whatever I've read, based on whatever I've learned, this is what I know, but am I heading in the right direction? always use the interviewer like your guide, like a friend. Because look, the interviewer doesn't want to sit there and interview hundreds and thousands of people. Like he or she would rather get done with a few interviews, select the candidates, and get back to work. And so use the interviewer as a friend. So if you develop that personal rapport, that camaraderie with the interviewer, even if you don't get a 10 out of 10 on all the technical questions, maybe you just get a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10. If he or she likes your personality, then you end up getting lots of marks for that. At the end of the day, if you think about it, right, an interviewer wants to assess if he or she can spend 14 hours or 16 hours a day with you in investment banking.
Mm-hmm.
So they would rather pick someone who has a good personality but might not be a genius, as opposed to picking someone who's a genius but someone who doesn't quite get along well with the rest of the people on the floor. So always keep that in mind, so always aim for that personal connection with the interviewer. That's going to be very helpful, especially if you aren't very well versed with the technical questions. That can be a savior.
Okay, I see.
My gut tells me that you found the video to be useful, and if that's actually true, please do like the video and subscribe to my channel. Oh, you've already done that. What a fucking legend. The competition for investment banking roles is higher than ever, and students from all over the world are going above and beyond in a bid to land the most coveted roles at the most coveted of investment banks. And so if you want to be uncommon amongst the uncommon, then I strongly suggest investing in my ebook, or perhaps even scheduling a one-on-one counseling session with me. A shout out to Raghav and Jason for having landed top-notch roles in their respective areas of interest. Kudos to you guys. I'm pretty sure others will seek a lot of inspiration from the power of your examples. That's all, folks. Let me know in the comment section if you have any questions that I can answer. If you don't have any questions, just drop a hi or a hello or anything really. Gali bhi chalegi bhai. Until next time, stay safe, take care, keep smashing it, and cheers.